Hey everyone, welcome back to Purpose to Love. My name is Randy, and if you didn't catch the last video, I just updated my viewers that we're going to do something fun and different this year. I wanted to take you on a journey with me in creating and building my patio garden, vegetable garden. And so as promised, I'm going to take you on the journey, and here we are at Home Depot. There it is. Hey, Home Depot. And so now I'm just going to go in, grab a few things that I needed to get started. I have to get a few little starter pots, and some seeds, of course. And the goal is to get organic seeds. Hopefully they have some available. So yeah, let's get started. So disregard my lack of artistic skills, but I like to draw things out. I'm a visual person, so sometimes I like to just see where things might be. This is hopefully a goal of what the porch will look like eventually, but it'll take time. But for now, I like to draw it out. So as you can see here, what we did is we took the starter seedling lettuce out of the container there, and so you can see that there's a lot of roots starting to develop, and this lettuce was not actually this long when we bought it, so it definitely needs to be transplanted so it has some room to grow. So mommy is working hard at filling up this pot so we can put this lettuce into that pot so it can have some room to grow, stretch its legs, and we'll do the same thing with the kale here. So we put a few of the lettuce in one pot, and we took out one of the kale because they need actually a little bit more room to grow. But apparently it's supposed to be 6 to 10 or 10 to 12 inches apart or something like that. I don't know. But I don't have that kind of room, so we're going to make do with what we have. And because we're going to try growing some of the lettuce and kale inside and some outside, I'm not really too worried about it. We'll yield what we can, and hopefully we'll grow what we can and go from there. Hey everyone, so just want to show you what I'm doing now. I'm just going to start some seedlings because we want to get our peppers and our tomatoes ready for the spring. Sorry, I had to have my camera, so my puff is out of focus. But anyway, so we have some peppers that I'm going to plant, and then we also have some beefsteak tomatoes, so they're the big ones. Okay, so with the potting mixture that we have here, depending on what kind you get, you might have a potting mixture that might have lots of sticks and these little white things. They're called perlite, and it's like a natural occurring volcanic particle, and when it heats up to about, I think, 1600 degrees or something like that, it puffs up really big, and it's actually something really helpful. It helps the the soil to release moisture, to keep whatever is in there damp but not soaked. So it's a nice way to keep the moisture of the soil or the dirt more arid, more airy, so the plant can grow and can breathe. So it's really good stuff. But you'll notice that there's a lot of stuff in here, and if you have like an individual or a child who is maybe very much more like tactile sensitive, obviously they may not like all of this stuff. Obviously you can try wearing gloves. There's some gardening gloves that are really thick, not like the plastic gloves that you might get at a doctor's office, but more like gardening gloves, right, that are thicker, and they're not going to be able to feel all of the little particles, so it may not offend their senses. So that's something to try. And then also, you know, using little shovels or big shovels like this to pour the soil in, and then maybe someone else can help with maybe mixing the soil with the water and doing things like that, just so that they can, be more participatory. But yes, so we have some soil in here. I'm going to add just a little bit of water just so it's not so dry. And I'll use my hands to mix it like this. I like getting my hands a little dirty, so I'm fine with that. And then I'll just add a little bit more soil. And then we'll start to put the seed in there in a little bit. Put it just a little bit more. You can fill it up. And with soil straight from the bag, depending on how, like, I guess, moist or damp it is, it might be a little dry. So when you put water in it, it seems like it's high now, but it'll get packed down. So right now it's still not quite time to be growing things outside. So we have to grow these seedlings, these little babies, inside. Right now here, where I live, in the evenings it gets to be about low 40s, mid to low 30s, and so it's still a little cold for these guys to really incubate and start to grow and get strong. So I just poured just like some warm water, not cold, not hot, but you could say like room temperature. And we're going to take our peppers first. And with the peppers, you want to plant about 2 seeds per pot. So, and they're so tiny. They're the peppers that you see, the pepper seeds that you see when you open them up and you're cutting peppers for your salad, those guys there. So I'm going to take my finger and just kind of make some room. Not too deep, but just deep enough. You can see there for my peppers, and I will just pop them in there. And I'll cover them up. And when I'm ready, I will probably kind of put like a little plastic film over them. I don't have like a little tray that has a cover that goes over the whole thing, so I'll put like a little plastic saran wrap over it, and I'll have to peel it on and off to water them as needed, but that'll keep it warm and toasty and incubated so they can start to grow. Hope that they grow, right? So this is the bulk of the work when you're doing your gardening or your planting. A lot of it, you know, the transplanting and the putting everything together, like this is the messy part, and your hands get all gross if you don't wear gloves, and you know, so it gets a little busy with this. But once this is done, and after we transplant it, after it grows, then we just get to sit and wait and just make sure we take care of them and we feed them and watch them grow. And then you have some delicious tomatoes, peppers, lettuce, whatever you need for your salad. So the hope is that it starts to grow. Next, the other thing that I do have is some zucchini. And the seeds are here. They're a lot bigger. They're much bigger than tomato and pepper seeds. But these can actually be direct sown into the ground or outside. Right now, and they grow fairly fast, and so it's not quite the season for zucchini. They're closer to mid-spring later on, and I don't want to grow them indoors because they're going to get big and wild and I don't have anywhere to put them inside. So you want to wait until the spring time to plant them outside. So okay, so also I just want to remind you, make sure you label which is which, because you won't know until they grow. And you want to keep an eye on how your peppers or tomatoes are responding to a particular environment. That's just peppers. You can't read my writing, but just label it. Make sure that you know who is who in the mix. And again, I'm not planting a lot because it's just myself and my mother, and we have a small space, so we don't want it to overrun, but I want to make sure, you know, one of these has to grow. You know, at the end of the day, one of these has to grow. So you do want to plant a few just in case maybe one or two don't make it. At least you have something. So we'll see how they do. I don't know if I might have planted them a little too deeply or whatever, but it's just trial and error. It's not about being perfect. It's just trying it and seeing how it goes, you know. I have planted peppers and tomatoes and lettuce before, but it was in a different environment. I was in a different part of the country. I was across the country in Pittsburgh, and we're planting a garden at our church, and so the environment was just different. The needs of the church and the community were just different, so we planted way more and actually had help and people who knew what they're doing. So I'm kind of starting on my own kind of thing. So we're just going to trial and error and see what happens. So I just want to show you guys the final product. Here are my babies. My seedlings are wrapped in saran wrap, and there's a rubber band around the saran wrap as well to hold it in place. And I have left a little flap on the sides just so air could circulate through the pot. So let's hope that they grow. Alright everyone, that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to showing you guys how the plants are doing next time. But until then, stay well, be well, and remember you are purposed to love.